I like to envision or fantasize that the options market is like a flea market. Because you got to remember, we, as the option traders, create the liquidity. It's not like stocks where it's the companies who release a set number of shares to buy and sell. Instead, we're the ones who write the contracts. So I like to fantasize when I'm thinking about the options market. I think of it as a flea market that the event company, known as the Options Industry Council, comes and sets up this big tent called the options market, and they put tables within the tent that each one is an option. And it's us who comes to the different tables to buy and sell that particular option. So sometimes when you're in this flea market, you'll go to a table. Like if we come over here on some of the deep in the money options, like this particular table for the September 16th, 2022 expiration date, 19 strike price, there's only two people at the table. Or there might even be just one person and he's got two of these contracts in his hand. So that's the type of table you'd go to, and there wouldn't be a lot of activity. There wouldn't be a lot of buying and selling because there's only two contracts in circulation. Yes, the table was set up by the event coordinator, but we're the ones who decide how much activity is going to be there, and there's nobody at that table. There's like two contracts. Whereas when I come over here to the at the money option that has 1,800, and I go to the table and there's like buyers and sellers. There's standing room only around that table, and people are buying and selling. And if you were to raise your contract and say, I'd like to sell these options, there'll be somebody to buy it versus at that other table where there's only like one guy. He'd raise it and he'd be like, yeah, I'm not willing to pay that price. And you don't have any kind of like market. So you always have to think about that, the liquidity of that particular option you're thinking of buying and selling when you're thinking about options. That's like an added complexity on options that you don't have to think about on stocks. But still, even with that little nuance of having to do that extra check, because you can make so much more returns on options, that's a little like nuisance that we deal with as option traders. And soon it becomes, automatic.